Mi gente, welcome back to another HOA. I have a very, very special neighbor today. You guys might know him from the other show as well. What's it called? The Beans and Rice Show. It's getting very dark in here, kind of. Very, very spooky. A little sprinkle of cheerfulness. But today our neighbor is none other than HosBeefy666 la Bestia.
The Beast. How's it going?
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to cut off your celibacy break earlier.
I'm still celibate king, okay?
I'm glad. See, that's why I'm here. You know, cock blocks.
I was actually putting you to the test because you said that number one, you didn't even schedule or anything. Say, oh, this is the time that this is gonna happen. You didn't even confirm. This is supposed to be a professional show. So I was actually outside the whole time, just hiding from you.
You forget.
Trying to teach you a lesson.
I'm also an artist, you know, so rules don't apply to me.
Yeah, well,
I'm a producer now, is what they say. But dude, number one question: who do you think you are?
like what? In what sense? I
Just any sense.
think I'm just a normal person, man. I'm
Like
pretty normal.
who's beefy to people who don't know who's beefy?
To people, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Is I don't. First of all, I don't like talking to people. You know.
I know that.
So I don't know, but I think to a random person, I just try to be like a nice person. I would say, you know.
Like a random
Just a nice
stranger,
person. Yeah.
stranger on the bus.
Yeah, depends. I mean, I'm pretty. So who am I? I mean, I just try to be a nice person in general. I think sometimes I always try to be myself. So no matter what, you know. So I think sometimes that's why people have like issues with me.
Oh, you're getting ahead of me. So that's the next question. Why are people intimidated by you?
A nice guy. I'm
A nice guy who intimidates people.
The intimidator. Dude, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. I think maybe I don't know if it's like my energy or something. You know, I just always try to be myself, and I think I'm not sure if I'm very energetic or what it is, but I kind of use it to filter people, right? Because my friends in general, I want them to have like a high character. You know, so if I'm meeting you off, like I'm coming off strong, like if I'm shaking your hand, I'm just like, I'm coming in hard, you know, like I want to see if you can match that energy. If you don't match it from the beginning, then I just know I can't
mess around with you as much.
Yeah, you know, or I can't even, maybe I'm not even enticed to like make a different type of relationship with the person or chase like a different type of friendship.
Because I would say like you're very authentic, right? Like you don't really, you don't come off as fake to me. I mean, to me, right? But I've known you our whole fucking life, so that doesn't count. But like to other people, you might come off as like too real, I think, or maybe even too fake. Like they take your realness as fakeness.
No.
And just
I hope not.
This whole world is like, everyone's all about like social media and shit like that, and you're very anti that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that's kind of how I see it. But like, I kind of want to like.
So what? Just like, well, if I'm too real, well, I mean, with me,
Or maybe not too real, like maybe too honest, or I don't know what it is, bro. Like why? I don't know why you scare people off. It could be the 666 in you, you know.
No.
But like,
so for me, I just, you know, I think for me, I like being myself. You know, like growing up, I didn't have the easiest childhood, so I had to suppress who I was growing up a lot. You know, like a long part of my life. So, I mean, I just in general, I like making stuff. You know, so just imagine like you have this like crazy imagination. You're like, I mean, I'm always making things, you know, like always, all the time. And just imagine bottling up all of that, like most of your life, you know. So the once I became an adult, you know, it's like,
so
well,
like an imaginary celibacy.
what's that?
About imaginary celibacy, where your imagination is celibate all these years, and then finally,
Yeah, exactly. Then it gets to
fucking-
explode, a carnival of thoughts and
a volcano
expression, you know.
of colors and rainbows.
Next thing you know, I'm at the Pride Parade.
Hey.
No, but I think that's why, you know, it's like I just want to be myself, you know. I don't care about if you're not gonna like me or not. I don't have.
That's what I'm like trying to allude to. Like you really don't give a shit about what anybody thinks of you. Like you'll troll the shit out of them to figure out who they are and see if they could like ride and roll with the punches, or you just like kind of like me, dismissive, like fuck it. Like you obviously don't like, you don't matter enough, or you don't value yourself enough to be able to hang with me. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say that, and also like I sometimes like to come off like in a weird way, like put a weird energy out just to see if like the person stands up for themselves, you know. Like I mean, we talk about this before. It's like when I met like ABD or like host, like we met over the Confederate flag, right?
Yeah.
So I was just pranking them, was kind of like rude or whatever. It was Flag Day. I'm doing Confederate flag, but like when host and ABD, like if they set something up, like, oh, these guys are cool, right? They can voice their opinions. So I'm gonna talk to them because they're not able to confront me or have a different I guess mindset or just a different opinion than me, you know. So I think sometimes that's a big reason why I try to maybe hit people with like some uncomfortableness, you know, because if they're like confident enough to like question me or challenge me, then I respect that, you know. But
yeah, so they're
if
not like
then
pushovers or something,
right? So then if not, it's like, well, I don't want to be around you if you're not going to have like your own thoughts or ideas, or it kind of filters people out. Like if I'm scaring them away or something, I'm not sure if that's
no, that's very Andrew Tate of you, you know, like no weaklings are in the circle.
No weaklings, you know.
That's funny. All right, dude. If bald people were to work at a restaurant, would they need to wear a hairnet?
Bald people?
Yeah, bald people.
Well, they probably have to wear like one of those chef hats, right? Because you don't want the bald sweat. I mean, obviously you don't cook a lot, Javi, but when you're cooking in the kitchen, you know,
Cynthia's always in the kitchen. You know, not because she's a woman.
Steaming, you know, things start getting a little hot. Your sweat can drop. I mean, would you want?
But you have a towel there. You know, like you wipe the plate down and you wipe your forehead, and it's all good.
So it just depends where you want your sweat, right? Do you want the sweat on your plate or do you want it on your food?
On your food. And what tastes better than blood, sweat, and tears?
I don't know.
I mean, me either. You know, let's ask Epstein and
right. So everybody else to the side, you know, the only person that ever tasted that was Jesus, all in once, you know.
Hey, he had that 3-for-1, you know.
Euphoric.
Dude, what is your most hated mode of transportation?
Transportation?
Yeah. Have you I mean, obviously we're graduated. We don't ride the bus anymore.
I mean, I tried to take the bus once, man.
Like the regular street bus.
Regular bus, because I was like, you know, I can't be an adult and not know how to take the bus. What if something happens, you know? So I just like went. I drove up to 45th 100 over there by Tim Valley Nissan.
But like,
and I was like, I need to know how to ask a man. There's some things that you need to know, you know. So
to navigate in life or
to take the bus. What if I wanted to take the bus? I don't got a car or something. So I took the bus, just went there. I didn't even know what bus, you know, I just got on the bus and it just took me around. I ended up over like in Midvale, like there's like a little, I don't know, like a hub for the buses.
Just kind of close.
And it just went around and just dropped me back off. So I didn't even make it anywhere. So I made it back to the dealership. I went down like 4 streets. So I was like, I told the guys like, I guess I don't know how to take the bus. He's like, there's an app for that. So I guess now there's like an app that tells you like how to navigate on the bus. So I would say that's a good form of navigation. I mean, bus rides used to be fun.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe here in the city, right? But
back in school, remember we used to take the bus? That was
that was fun. But like I'm saying, like nowadays, like Uber, there's Uber. There's
my worst.
Track,
I don't know, man. Sometimes Mexicans, dude. Honestly, you know, if they got, I'm gonna be somebody's driving. They got a bunch of trumpets and stuff, listening to that stuff, and I'm you know, it's early in the morning, or if they're smokers. You know, and they're like smoking in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to smell that. You know, my nostrils, I got big nostrils. So, like, the smoke hits me a lot different in the...
It'll fuck up your...
Oh, in the morning, dude. In the morning, I can smell cigarettes from, like, a mile away, you know? I got to ease into them. That's why I wake up late, you know? No. But, yeah, it's... So, I would say that driving with smokers or just, like, I don't know, man. Maybe, like, loud Mexican music, I can't. Unless, like, Juan Gabriel. But I don't like the banda and stuff, you know?
Why is that? Like, why don't you like banda?
Well, it's because I was born in Mexico City, you know?
Well, true, but, I mean, they have banda in there, too.
I mean, not really, man. Like, they listen to it, but, I mean, growing up, like, I didn't even know what that was, honestly.
Really?
They had, like, Ramon Ayala. He's, like,
that's, like,
popular.
Yeah.
And he's got good lyrics, you know? So
he's almost like a Chente.
Vicente Fernandez, exactly. So you got those guys, but other than that, it's, like, I don't know. I always, in a way, kind of, like, hated... that I was from Mexico City because there wasn't a lot of people from Mexico City here, right? Not that I just hated the Guadalajara people, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just like, everybody's like, bro, it's like, you guys think you guys got good food? I mean, questionable. You know, they guys got carne asada. Like, I didn't think I tried that in Mexico City, like the flank steak, you know? Like the carne asada ranchera.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think I ever tried that in Mexico City, so that was good. But I just, sometimes I don't like, I don't know, being labeled like, I think a lot of people here in the U.S. have like I guess maybe northern Mexico, it's more of like Mexicans. You know, there's not like southern Mexico or Mexico City. That's not what people think of when they think of Mexicans.
No, yeah, it's always like rancheros.
Well, even if you think you look at the restaurants, right? Like what people are selling, it's like most of the foods. It's like more.
It's more.
What would you would eat, right?
Yeah.
So where you're from, it's not like Mexico City stuff. You're not gonna. That's not what's mainstream. So
Yeah, and I've never been, and honestly, I'm a little scared to go.
hey, maybe Jos. He says he knows people in Mexico. Maybe he can take us to, well, at resorts.
And his
To
private
play it a little bit
jets.
safe. But yeah, that would be the only thing. That's one of my pet peeves I had growing up. It's just
Well, you've been to both cities now. Like what? Because like Guadalajara's crazy, but it's crazy to me, right? But like that's probably like so tame to you because it's
oh yeah.
like I can only imagine just being in El DF with like a million people to your left and a million to your right, and it's like so much shit to do. And I've been to New York, and I can imagine it's kind of like that, but probably like 50 times worse.
Yeah.
As far as like energy in the city and it always being busy and shit, you know?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's part of the reason I think I started liking rap from so young. It's because it reminded me of Mexico City,
Yeah.
especially like New York and stuff like that. Just like the vibes, they have a different type of slang. They talk different. Just the environment that they're describing, it sounds like Mexico City, right? They're taking the subways. There's like crimes going on. There's prostitutes.
We
Like,
just sketch like who the fuck would take a subway in the DF, bro? Isn't that like
hey, everybody,
earthquake?
that's like one of their biggest modes of transportation, dude. It's like, I remember one time I went to my cousin, he was doing his college thesis, he was dropping it off, and it was during rush hour, and it was the first time I ever took the subway or a metro, because it also goes above ground. But yeah, it was like 5 p.m. and the light turns on, the doors open, and
It's like a
you have to like, it's like sardines, dude.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know what to do. I was like, holy crap, like there's no room.
Yeah.
Like my cousin just like yanked me and just like pushed
Forced
me
you in
inside, and like all of us were just like smushed in, So I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
that was like, and
God
traffic,
damn.
my aunt, she would leave like at 5 a.m.
Get to work at 7:30.
Yeah, 7 or 8, and then she would come back, like she'd be home like about 8 p.m. because she was just stuck in traffic
Like a
the
whole
whole time.
day.
So
Fuck, dude, yeah.
I went with her to her work. She took me a couple times, but I don't even know what we're talking about. Mexicans and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, like okay, how does it? You were saying it was similar to New York in the sounds and stuff. Like, what? Like, is it kind of like? Not, I know there wasn't like rap per se in the DF, but like there's something similar, or what would be the equivalent?
I just think it's like swag. I think that's what I would call it. It's just like you see people from New York, like. I mean, you
The
look at them.
confidence
It's like,
level is like
yeah, right.
OD.
Everybody's a hustler. Everybody works hard. Like everybody has like, I don't know. They have similarities in like the way that they grew up. Like I don't know. You're maybe around violence a little bit more. Like, I mean, there's things like the first time I ever found like a dead person, I was like five or four, like in front of my house.
Yeah.
I've seen like prostitutes. Like, I mean, people are like, oh, the U.S. is so open and blah blah blah. It's like we had trans women in Mexico City since I was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, like, we had already seen, like, trans
that
prostitutes, and they were around the neighborhood. You knew who they were. They had their nicknames, and they stayed in the neighborhood.
Well, don't they have like a trans soccer league down there or some shit?
I'm not sure, I think that's the Transcontinental Soccer League. I don't think if that's for...
It's el metro, not the railroad.
Yeah.
No, transcontinental.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, so... I don't know. I think that's why, to me, it felt more like... I like rap. It's, like, more urban. There's, we talk different, right? In Mexico City, you have a different accent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's why I know just like hip hop, like New York, it was just like, oh, that's kind of more like Mexico. So that's why I gravitated towards it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I could say like, well, how does kind of like LA without the beach, basically.
I've only driven past LA. I don't support those kind of states.
Well, now they're completely underwater, so kudos, you got your wish.
The Lord withheld all the water. Have it all at once. But
Yeah, all the water they weren't getting for the past 30 years
water
showed up. Shout out to Nixon. Dude. Let's see. Do you have a favorite food spot?
Man, you know what? So I mean, I like food places where I can chill, So I never been a fan of like, oh, I'm gonna go to like Javi here, He likes to pull up to, oh, I'm gonna go to Hell's Kitchen, He goes to what else? He goes to I don't know. Gobble Bobby.
I ordered the gabagool everywhere I go. You know,
Like, dude, I don't even know what that is. You know,
Me either.
I thought that was a flavor of Gerber. You know, the Gobble
It's
Bobby,
the Italian
the
flavor.
Gobble Baby. You know?
No, but that's Cynthia's fault, dude. I wasn't that kind of guy, you know.
No, so
Until she broke my heart and then healed it again, you know.
that's how she healed it. She took you
Took
expensive
me to
places.
expensive places,
Set the bar so high.
but she made me pay for it. You know?
She knew what she was doing. Yeah, no, I like to pull up. I mean, you know the spots I like to pull up, right? I like to pull up Meños.
Yeah, I know menus.
And, I mean, it's nothing fancy. I wouldn't say they even have the best food. They have good flautas. And they have chorizo. Lengua al pastor tacos are good. Semita is good. Everything else, pretty suspect. But I pulled up there quite a bit. I mean, I'll just sit there, listen to music. I like to go eat alone. You know, the lady will just like leave me alone,
Hey.
give me extra waters,
Yeah,
just let me hang out. I mean, sometimes I'll hang out like 3 hours, you know?
really.
Yeah, so I like it like that. There's not a lot of people, it's chill. Or I like to go El Cabrito, mi Cabrito. That one's also cool, but that one, you know, I usually go with people if I go to
Is that
to
the one down in Rose Park?
That's the one that we went to when we moved, do you
Yeah.
remember? Yeah, because that one's cool, it's always packed. But that one you can go with more people and
I like them because they close all the way like a whole week at the end of the year. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, hey, we're
well,
human
because they're
too,
popping, man. They're
Yeah.
they're busy. They put in a lot of work.
which is like totally fine, you know. Like,
Yeah.
hey, from Christmas on, they're like closed. So I was like, oh, that's dope. They actually have like a life, a little bit. You
Well,
know.
I mean, they work. I think they work. Dude, they get packed like on weekends, like during the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Their line will be like wrapped around the corner. So, I went there. Sometimes I've gone there and I like ate with random people.
just
So like
because
if it
there's like
gets
no
too
room.
busy, like I'll tell a person. Like, we met this little guy, this little Mexican guy. He had like an AK-47 chain on. His name was Domingo.
Oh, he's one of those sucios.
He lived in
sucio
Park
gang?
City, but he lived like super Park City. He was there eating alone. I was there. I went with my boss. I took him there. I was like, the line, like I said, we were outside. Put myself on the waiting list, but I saw little Domingo, and I was like, hey, is it cool if we eat with you? He's like, yeah, and we just like hung out there. Probably like another 3 hours, 3-4 hours, hung out with Domingo.
That's why there's a fucking line, you piece of shit. Like,
Hey,
there's-
you know,
3
once
hours?
you gotta enjoy your meal. If you make it through the line, you already waited an hour.
you gotta condescend.
You
and-
make it, yeah. By the time you leave, it's you had dinner, you had lunch and dinner.
That's funny.
So yeah, so that's why I like to pull up to spots where you don't have to be rushed. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of my vibe.
And I like that place too, because it's like, dude, the things are massive. Like, it's not like no pussy ass meal. Like,
Yeah,
you end up taking like half of it home, you know?
it's fair price. I think that's like one of the last spots, even with inflation or even Mexican food in general, where, I mean, because there's some spots now, like even menus, like I'll take 2-3 people, and dude, I have to spend like almost $200.
Yeah.
You're like,
Which is fucking crazy.
Right?
You know, for Mexican food.
yeah. So it's like, dude, it's nothing. I mean, you gave me like $40 worth of food, if that.
Yeah, like I could go to the grocery store and shit.
Right, I
Yeah.
can cook this up, you
Yeah.
know. So
Which that doesn't bother you, like when the Mexican place ends up being like that?
for that one, it does kind of bother me sometimes, especially for that place. But I just like support it. It's like a mom and pop's place, and like I said, it's like chill. When I go, like I know that I guess it's almost like I'm paying them to be there for that amount of time, like
It's like a club, you know?
yeah, to just like leave me alone. Like they already know me, they know what I'm gonna order,
Yeah.
so I'm just like paying them to just kind of let me chill and that's it. But yeah, sometimes like when I want to take like people over, it's just like, oh man, do I really want to take them there and spend $200, you
Yeah.
know, or do I just take them somewhere else,
You
like
can go
Puerto
get
Vallarta, you know?
Oh, that place is pretty nice too.
So it's like maybe we can go there instead. Even though there you have to be more rushed, obviously,
Yeah. Like, hey, you only got 15 minutes to eat your fucking food, you savages.
Yeah, and they mess it up more.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, with that one, I would go to Vallarta with friends, but low key spots is what I would say where I like to eat.
That's funny. Dude, what makes you feel vulnerable?
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, honestly, nothing, man. To be honest, bro, like. I just like kind of we were saying earlier, man. Like at first, I guess I've been lucky enough to meet like people to like I wasn't cool with my family growing up, but I never the only thing that I never wanted to be like, and I've talked to like you guys about this host, but the only thing I never wanted to be in life was a victim, like I didn't want to be like, oh, my parents weren't good to me, that's why I can be a piece of shit, or why I can't have a good job or drop out of high school or or do drugs. Like I just never wanted to be a victim. So, uh, I mean, it took a lot of people. I mean, because I guess for me, being vulnerable almost was, and you know what's funny is we almost talked about this last week on the Beans and Rice, right? As a guy, when you say how you feel, right?
Yeah.
So for me, especially during like COVID, when it happened, like I always try to find like time to reflect and I guess grow as a person. I've told you this before, like it's my grandma, your grandpa, you know, it's like once you're around like a person, that's why like to me when you're like, oh, 666, like I value, you know, because people are always like only about happy stuff, right?
And that's impossible. There's no way you're going through life and
right, but even religion, right? It's like, oh, the light, like, but it's like 666. Oh, that's weird. That's, you know, occult. Oh, Satan, but it's like there's difference between like the darkness and evil, right? So to me, I see like darkness. Like I was in like hosters. I was born in the dark, you know, like vain or whatever. But that's me, right? And I mean, I don't think I'm a piece of shit, right? But it's like my whole life has been pretty dark. That I mean, there's
but then you can also think like, I mean, people mistake religion and religious people as light and stuff, but like if you think about it, religion is like you have to sacrifice, right? And you've had to sacrifice a lot through your life. Is like that's kind of like the difference where people get lost in like, yeah, you had a dark life and a fucked up life, if some people would say, you know, but then that's also could be like a sacrifice. I mean, not to get fucking religious.
You can go ahead.
But yeah, like it's kind of like, yo, those are just tests and tests and tests and shit like that. And I hate fucking saying like what's it called? Oh, the God only gives his toughest battles to the strongest soldiers. But it tends to seem that way. You know what I mean? Because I've had issues, but it's not. I don't think mine are any worse than yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, to me, I think it's just like people focus on like just everything being so good all the time. You said you were talking, I think it was last week, you were saying, it's like, oh, I was thinking more about death, you know? Or now that you have a son, it's like, well, I'd have to acknowledge death more, you know? Like, be more aware of it or live in the future. Like, you know, we're like programmed. You know, I think about stuff like this all the time, you know? It's like, I always like to sit alone and just like have my own thoughts, just like tap into where you're just like thinking about
listening to yourself,
right? Just like think and even get lost. Like sometimes I don't think. Like I like to look up and watch the stars.
Yeah,
you know, you're like, you know, now we're so like evolved as a society, man. Like we don't even. Just imagine like back then.
But if you ask anybody, nobody sits in complete silence, bro. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, well, if you didn't interrupt me,
I'm sorry to interject. You know.
But what I was gonna say is like, you know, back then, like in, I guess, less modern times where we didn't have, you know, electricity everywhere and stuff like that. Like, no matter who you were, you know, if you were Alexander the Great or, you know, whatever emperor or Genghis Khan or whatever, like, you know, piece of shit or, you know, whoever you wanted to be, like, when you laid down and it was dark, right? Like the darkness, it always humbled you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's like you could look up in space and you're like, well, here I'm trying to, you know, be a piece of shit like around the whole world, and
I've killed many billions of people.
Right, but then you look up into the heavens, right, and it's like dark, and that's the biggest equalizer. It's always been darkness. So it's like whether you're like powerful or anything like that, it's like something that humbles you, humbles everything. Like the earth humbles everything, every being of life. It like humbles it with darkness. Everybody has to go to sleep. I mean, there's some nocturnal animals. You know, but everything dies. You know, there's like winter. That's like the equalizer to reflect. So now it's like we're so accustomed to, I guess, to everything. We never get to stop to just like self-reflect or to be humbled. That we're just like chasing like the next high, or oh, I need to be this, I need to be better, I need to be that. And there's like, you don't get a chance now because we can turn on a light. You can look at your phone. You don't get a chance to like look up into the sky and be like, yo, it's wild that I'm living right now, that I get to live, right?
Yeah.
And even for our parents, like I was just bringing to my point earlier, like my grandma, she's like 97 right now, super peaceful. You know, her life is just, she's just like, I don't know, she's just like happy. Same with your grandpa. Like when I met your grandpa, he was like completely fine dying, you know? So he had already accepted like, hey, I'm gonna die, and I'm not greater than anybody else. Like, there's I mean, I'm a sinner or whatever you want to call it. You know, like I'm a human. I'm a regular person.
Yeah.
Basically, right? I'm nothing in the grand scheme of things, right? So he already accepted that he can just, once you can basically be okay dying, you can just like live and you don't even have to chase anything. Like, dude, sometimes like the best things to do is just like, just to acknowledge that you're living, man. It's like fucking, dude, it's crazy, right? Like we don't get a playbook. Like growing up, our parents always tell us like, oh, you know, grow up, you're going to be a doctor. You can go to school. You can do this. You know, you can do all these things like when you grow up, but they never tell you like, oh, you know, your friends are gonna die. Right?
Nobody
Most of the people,
prepares you really.
none of the people that you know, it's like maybe they're gonna be junkies. Maybe your siblings, you know, they're gonna start getting, you know, diseases, cancer, like all this crazy shit. You know that's why now, like for senior citizens, like I have way more respect. It's just like I don't just see like an old person or like, oh, this like old fossil. It's just like somebody that has dealt with like so many of their friends just like dying. Like, bro, it's hard to be alive, man. Like,
Especially at that point, right? Like,
yeah, like
you're the last one of your like friends, family to be still alive. Like, that should be like that weighs like heavy on your mind, you know.
And when you're
or
saying
it
it's like,
should, because I mean nowadays like you were saying, nobody preps you for any of this.
yeah, because it's all, and that's what I mean with like the whole darkness thing, right? Everybody's just like, oh, we get to live again. Oh, if you're good, you're gonna go to heaven. Oh, you're gonna get to see your family again in heaven. You don't even want to see your family while you're living right now.
Why the fuck would I want to see him in heaven? You know.
You know, it's like you're. Oh, I'm gonna go out of my way to go see my family now. You know, I'm gonna have beef with my family. It's like, so you don't even want to see them now, but you're just like, it's almost like an excuse to be like, extend your life to me sometimes, right? Sometimes like you can hide under the
guise of
under
of
maybe
another
like
life.
the promises of religion,
Yeah.
right? Of what it promises you to not be your best while you're on earth. So that's one thing that I kind of, why, you know, if focus more on like the darkness or death, if you know that was more of like, bro, it's like you don't know. Like sometimes I think that would be also a better way to approach life, is like, you don't know, but guess what, you know, your friends are gonna die, like, you know, like you, all these things are gonna happen, like,
yeah.
bro, it's like it's gonna be tough living. And if we had that conversation like more often, there would probably be less people that, you know, whether they feel depressed or they're like committing suicide and stuff like that. So, because we would normalize basically all emotions, not just like, oh, it's gonna be better, it's gonna be great. Oh, something's wrong with you, go to the gym, you know. It's
Yeah,
like,
nothing's gonna promise you like, oh, hey, like it gets better. No, it fucking doesn't. You know, it
you
only
gotta
gets
work
worse.
harder,
Piece of
you know.
shit.
Yeah. You got more and more responsibilities, like as you get older and stuff like that. So
that's why I kind of I try to emulate what Grandpa does and taught me. You know, he's like, hey, like all these like religion, yeah, it's like a guideline, but nothing's promised. You're not promised you're gonna make it to heaven, and even if you are good, you know, like nothing's promised. So just kind of like don't be as much of a piece of shit. Like help your fellow man when they're down. Like don't kick anybody when they're down. You know, like and that's kind of what I try to like. Cause he's like, yeah, that's what I learned. It's like, yo, death is like you're gonna die. Like that. He just put that in my brain.
Yeah,
like, bro. Like you're not gonna outlive this. You know. So just don't be a piece of shit. Really, is what he was like saying. At like your shoes that you always like to buy and your clothes like doesn't mean anything. Like you're gonna take it, but los gusanos se lo va a comer. You know. So like
yeah.
You're not gonna have shit
Unless you're King Tut, you know.
and even
They're at
him
the pyramids,
everyone stole it.
Now all of a sudden people take your stuff, you
Yeah.
know, and they go pawn it. But
So even if you do like make it to the death and take all your shit, they're gonna take it right
here
back.
comes the white men, you know.
Seriously.
But just to answer your question, is vulnerability. Like that's how I learned to just be vulnerable, you know. Like I try to take every day, whether it's like the hardest thing that I always like had to be vulnerable with is like, well, how to ask for help, how to tell somebody how I feel, you know, like if I'm trying to like pursue somebody or whatever I'm attracted to, like, oh, hey, you know, I think you're, you know, attractive or whatever, I actually like you, you know, like, but I always like the way that I treat my mind now, it's before I go to bed, like I just see it like I die in my sleep, right? So whatever's in my mind,
technically you've already died.
well, let's just, you know, so I just get it out of my system, right? So whatever, I just treat like nighttime is like, okay, we basically die and then we get to wake up if we get to wake up, right? So whatever's been on my mind, like if I'm mad at someone or if I like someone, or if I'm pissed off at someone, whatever the case may be, like I have to say it, right? So that's how I learned to be vulnerable. Is, dude, and it rubs people off. Like some people, it rubs them off the wrong way. You know, like, bro, why are you telling me this or whatever? It's like, bro, because I'm just like for my peace of mind. You know, like
I just gotta get
I don't
it
want
out.
to like die, or you know, like with something that's like been bugging me, like bro. And it's so nice, bro. Like you just
like a regret almost, like
yeah, like that you never said that, or exactly like with a regret. So it's like before I go to bed, man, like even if I have an idea, like I have to write it down or I have to say it, or sometimes what's funny is like I'll think of a joke and I have to yell it out loud, and then I laugh, and then I can go to sleep because I just have to get it out of my system.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, that's like I just want to be vulnerable. If you're vulnerable enough, like it just becomes like, I don't know, like normal. You're not being vulnerable anymore. Like nothing's like gonna creep you out, or nothing's going to like mess with your ego. You're just like you're
You're
being
in the
yourself,
moment,
right?
and that's it. Like like, oh, it happened, cool. Just keep it moving, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing changes me. Yeah, I get
So
it.
yeah, you just do it enough. It's just like you get enough reps, you can, I mean, be vulnerable about everything basically.
Just practice is what you're saying.
Practice. It's scary, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not. You know, it's like, bro, it's scary to like share your feelings, or you know, say like weird things. But I mean, I think our group, and I guess to my point, just friendships. Like I think our group here that we have. I mean, we're a lot of the conversation that we're having are conversations like this.
This is normal.
Most of the time, like after we got done saying something crazy, you know,
Yeah.
we're talking about whether it's like religious views or just like how the world works or your mind works, like. But that's because we've kind of taken the time with each other to normalize that. So it's it's nothing weird, you know. We can be vulnerable with each other. It's
we can ask a stupid ass question and be like,
right. You're not gonna feel like I'm gonna, you know.
yeah. Or we try to poke holes into like, no, I think that's wrong because of this, or no, think about it this way and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to the core.
So yeah, be vulnerable, okay?
If you could redesign society, what would you change?
I mean, basically, we just spoke about, man. You know, to be like more
For men to like specifically, or just or both women?
No, for I was just saying in general to just be like acknowledge like the bad things in life too. You know, to teach people like, hey, you know, your parents are gonna die, your cousins are gonna die, your friends are gonna die. You're gonna feel shitty sometimes. Like, just to teach both, and also I would teach like financial stuff, like. You know, this is how you work your credit. You know, don't blow all your money on your first car. Try to flex on people, you know? So I would do that. And my biggest thing for me, man, it's like I always try to, like, if you're a minority, man, don't
fall into stereotypes.
don't fall into what, even just that, like, don't fall into like, oh, be a victim of the system. You know, sometimes even, and yeah, there's like, oh, you can prove that, you know, the U.S. and the government did this, but a lot of the times people just having the idea and the mentality that there is a system, that's just that's the system. That you have the idea that you can never beat this. The whole idea already defeated you from trying to achieve whatever you wanted. Yeah. Right? So you've already
lost before even playing
like
the game.
There doesn't even have to be literally a system. If you like in your mind, you can just be weak enough to be like, oh, I'm a minority, I don't have any, you know, way to progress in life. Like, bro, I was born in Mexico City, man. Like to me, like I see it almost and I mean this I always was funny. It's like Charlemagne the God, he has this book, the what, Black Privilege or something like that. And I mean, that's how I've always viewed my life, as that, man. Like, I'm Mexican, like I don't care if you call me a wetback or a spick or, you know, an illegal. It's like, bro, sure, call me like I'm gonna outwork you, I'm gonna outsmart you, I'm gonna outgrind you. Like my immigrant, my illegal, my ESL, like that just means I'm gonna get a chance to learn like double, you know, what you have to go through
and go through the fire a little more
to prepare me when I'm older to be like in harder situations where I'm not gonna fold. And you might fold because you've never been through that. Yeah. So to me, I've always counted that as almost like as a blessing that, you know, I get to be an immigrant. You know, I get to, I guess, appreciate like America more, or just like the dream of American society in general more, because I don't see excuses. Like I can just, even if maybe I have a harder hill to climb, like, you know, the more you do something that's harder, the easier it is. Yeah. So I think that would be my biggest thing to redesign, like for society. You know, people talk, oh, reparations, or you got to do more about, you know, integrating, you know, browns and blacks, people of color in general into like society, be more inclusive. Like, why don't we just, outwork everybody. You know, why don't you just outperform everybody? Oh, but they're holding back. A lot of times we're holding each other back more than anybody else.
The crab in the bucket type.
So it's just like, you know.
I get it.
So that would be mine. It's just redesign people of color. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
POCs.
Make them whiter.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You know? Shout out to Nina.
No, but I get it though. Because yeah, dude, like I see it like even with like us Mexicans, bro, there's still a lot of victim mentality. You know what I mean? Even though they've seen their pops open up a store with no English, you know what I mean? Like come here from a different country, not know a fucking thing, not know a law or anything, and still be able to like open up a successful business.
But then it's like, oh, my daddy was rude to me, machismo.
Yeah, he was like, oh, fucking.
He never said I love you. It's like, man,
yeah,
come on, bro.
That's what
my dad never said I love you. I'm doing great, okay? Come on, guys, tighten up.
My dad still hasn't, but he's, you know, I get a hug now and then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I get it. But
so it's like, how many more excuses do you want? You know,
I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a pet peeve of mine. Like, yo, I'm a victim. Like, oh, someone else has to fix my problem. Like, no, bitch, grab your nuts and work through it. You know, like,
and you know, and that goes, you know, for even people that are racist or whites or whatever, you know, the case may be. That's like, oh, these illegals are taking my job. You're gonna let a guy that doesn't speak English, that's ESL, that he's gonna take your job? Like, that has more to say about you than it has to say about the illegal.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get this little Carlos over here. He didn't even go to elementary or anything like that, you know?
Well,
he didn't even go to kindergarten. He just went to garden, you know?
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, yo,
and he took your job. Come on,
all
America,
he had to be was a gardener his whole life.
Yeah,
it was meant to be.
You went kinder and gardener. He just got the gardener part. And he outperformed you, you know?
That's funny. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, Pops went to 7th grade, like max, right? Max schooling. And he's made more money than any of us put together, which is nuts to me. Like, yo, how is my dad going to come from a different country? Oh, like, yeah, he took a couple risks and took a couple losses, but in the end, it like worked out. Whether like, I mean, yeah, he fucked up and like we had to like.
Hey, but all of that, it's like to your point is just like, it's taking a chance, right? So
you have to take that leap.
Like somebody takes, and you know, my whole thing with America, like just for Americans to kind of keep in perspective, like deep down in your, you know, majority or whatever, you know, of the forefathers were ever white, right? Majority of them were immigrants. So like somewhere in your DNA, there's somebody that like us, you know, a more recent, you know, I guess immigrant, was just like, you know what? I don't care if I die. I don't care if I ever see any of my family ever again. Like, I'm just going to take a chance by my own to chase my dreams or whatever my goals may be. Like,
better my life.
That's in your DNA, right? And now you're like upset that somebody's like, oh, you came and stole my job, or I don't like immigrants and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, that's like, you're almost like letting your own family tree down when you say that, because that should be in your DNA to just like love America that much, to want somebody that loves America that much to work with you and make it better.
Yeah.
That's the Build Back Better plan. That's what I'm coming back. I can't actually. Sorry, I was born in Mexico. I can't run for president.
But you know who can? We can have Hos.
We could have.
You could be vice. Or
I can't be vice president. I can't be anything, man. No.
You could be secretary.
I'll
of
be
state
a chauffeur.
Maybe Alice can get you a job in security. I'll be VP. I guess.
With their criminal background, I doubt it. You know?
Shut the fuck. Oh fuck. Okay. What would a perfect day for you be?
Perfect day?
Yeah.
I mean, I try to have perfect days all the time. On my weekends, I think those are my perfect days. I wake up, I sleep in a little bit. You know, when we sleep until, I've been trying to do like 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know, sleep in. Then I go and take my dog out. We go get coffee. We go out for a walk. And that's when I say, like, I always take my time to like unplug. Like, I'm just walking, I can hear the, you know, just the snow being smushed when I'm walking, the birds, the clouds, the breeze, and then just kind of like sit there, just, you know, play fetch. Come home, coffee already kicked in because I was sipping at the park. Now I kind of have to poop a little bit, so, you know, I go poop, or I go thrifting for a little bit, you know. Go thrifting, see if there's a couple good things I can find. Maybe I go wash my car, come back, maybe it's 11:30, 12. Make breakfast, you know, because I don't like eating early, like 9 o'clock. Like I'm eating like 11 o'clock, 10:30. I just like, you hear the little oil just, you crack your eggs, just make a little. I always make 2 fried eggs. Throw a little bit of spinach, a little spring mix. It's got on there just a couple different lettuce, a couple greens, and then I get maybe like 3-4 tortillas, sour cream, a little bit of cheese. Throw my egg in there. I make 4 tacos, and I'm good to go. That's how I start my morning. And after that, just whatever else. Like if I'm working on something, learning something, or building something, listen to music a little bit. But that's my weekend. I try to have a
perfect day.
Perfect day almost. Just relax, just unplug.
Yeah. What impresses you?
What impresses me? Just about what? Just
I guess whether it's like art stuff, like whether it's a musician or like an actual like sculpture or like a person, something they might say, or like or like how someone is or something.
I don't know, man. I would probably say comedians, like probably comedians. I would probably say that it impresses me. Like there's a lot of points like to do comedy and stuff. You have to be like so smart about just like feelings in general, like things that trigger people, things that are okay, things that are not okay, how you can make something that's not okay. How you can make something sad, fun. So I would probably say that impresses me the most. Just like people that no matter what, you just, try to have like a good time. Or
Well, do you think it's also because like they can't have the victim mentality, or else it's not going to work out for them?
Well, maybe, because because even in comedy, right, there's like, I guess, bits about being a victim somehow, right? But it's always
the essence of them being on stage, like getting booed, like yo, you suck.
Yeah, like you get humbled.
Trash, you know what I mean? Like it's like instant, like it's instant feedback. Every show, every live show that they do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like to me, like I understand your point where like yo, I like they have the balls to go in front of a group of people, which one, that's already hard enough as it is to be able to talk in front of, and 2, like formulate like content that people can relate to, even though if they talk about like, I don't know, rape or abortions and shit like that, how do you make that relatable where someone can like let go and just laugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah, I think that takes like a lot of like I don't know, it's like a lot of experiences too in general, just a lot of, you have to be so, I guess, objective and just like thoughtful, have like a crazy, like a wide open mind, to welcome any thought or any viewpoint, I guess, to judge or not judge. Like you just have to play all sides. But I would probably say creatively that, like, just in regular life, what was the question again? What impresses you? I would probably say life, man. Like the most that impresses me, dude, is probably space, dude. Like I've talked about it before. Just like, man, like I just like to look up, up in the sky, and I'm like, man, bro. So you can get these apps, they like help you trace like some of the stars, and sometimes you can even see like the like space junk and stuff like that. It'll the space junk's gonna fly by, 12:43 p.m. Look up to the east, and zoom in with your phone. I have a Galaxy S4. Everything's pixelated. It looks like I'm looking at, a whole constellation up there. Wow, it's not, it's a light pole.
Is that Cancer,
It also just looks like one of the old TVs.
Little did you know, the only cancer is giving off is the radiation it's giving off.
Yeah. I was zooming into my microwave, So yeah, so I like space for that reason, dude. It's just like, man, space, dude, it's been there. Like we don't know what happened to like most of the humans that have existed, right? People disappeared, the pyramids here, Mexico, blah blah, like all the old civilizations, but like the space has been there the whole time, like everybody. Dude, it's like we get to look at the TV if we wanted to. That's, I guess, to bring my point from even earlier. Like we can watch, like if we didn't have all the light pollution and stuff like that. Like if we can just like be humbled at the end of the night, we can watch the same TV that all these other guys watched, like all our ancestors watched, like
for millions of
years, right? So people are like, oh, how are they so smart? And why do they appreciate the planet? Or why were they? It's like, bro, it's like
they had no choice.
You can just look at that. That's your TV. That's your entertainment. It's just like, man, bro, that's like. So I'd probably say I admire that the most. Probably space, because it's like scary. space is like everything, man. It's like scary, it's beautiful, it's humbling. It's just like that's too much.
You don't get
man.
dizzy like laying there and seeing everything fucking move.
No, that's my stigmatism, man. My get a couple of the flurries, you know.
You don't sit place long enough.
Couple of the worms. My eyes start drooping to the side, you know. Gotta knock it back in place, but yeah. Shout out to space, man. Space is pretty cool.
What would you say your greatest accomplishment in life is so far?
Oh, can I get another water? The last water. You know, I used to be a little bit more into like do you need another one?
No.
Like
the only thing I have to offer is now dirty water, which our ancestors thrived off.
That's why they were so creative. Okay,
we're not sponsored.
Sure,
by
there
the
was
way.
a little abuse,
Hey,
you know. But hey,
sponsor Beans and Rice. Come on. I'm not gonna say the name until they sponsor us.
My biggest accomplishment, man. You know, dude, I always had like I mean, there was a little bit of a time when I sold cars. I was like, oh, I just want to be like, I just want to chase money, you know. And I think, you know, I was lucky enough to have that as my like, maybe like my first like early experience, just like having a lot of success. To where once I was able to take a step back, I was like, damn, bro, you know, I made like all of this money, right? But like, you know, around that time, like I wouldn't even want to go to Thanksgiving with you guys, you know, like I didn't want to go to Thanksgiving, Christmas, because I was working 6 days a week, you know, so it's like I don't want to take my only day off to like, oh, I gotta go drive here, you know, and I gotta, so it's just that crazy, right? That it's like even to see my own family, I'm thinking
it's almost like a burden.
It's almost like a burden because I'm like, I'm gonna go waste my day off that I have, like I didn't want to talk to people because I was like burned out of it. So once I was able to take a step back out of that, you know, it was just like at a right, I guess, time in my I guess life to experience all that because I learned a lot. And even now, you know, like with my current job, I've always been doing kind of like financial stuff, weirdly enough. But because my biggest accomplishment, man, I would probably say like, you know, I always like growing up, you know, I always had like a rough life, so I just always wanted to be. My main goal like in life was like, you know what, like my place was like a disaster, bro, you know. It's like violence, you know, screaming, just like fights, just like every single day, you know, like that's all my life was like growing up. So I just knew it's like, you know, I can't get in trouble you know, as when I'm in school, so I'm getting older, because like my main goal was just like I just want a place where I can make whatever I want whenever I want. I can you know, eat whenever I want, cook whatever I want, like just be creative, and then also just be peaceful, right? So, you know, as I guess it's like maybe underwhelming that is, like I think I've already accomplished like what I wanted in life, right? Where I don't have to depend on anything other than my biggest goal is just like I just want to be in a house where I can just like go to bed in peace, bro. Like I don't want to hear screaming, I don't want to hear fighting, like I don't want to be around no negative energy. I just want to be like peaceful and just enjoy myself, you know? Like that's all I ever wanted. It's like I already got it, you know? So
ahead of the curve, you know. That's what these millionaires.
No more goals. I am ready to kill myself. Okay.
I don't have anything to live for because I've accomplished it all.
We're going to be doing my will after this recording, and there's not much. You guys are gonna get about $60,000. That is it. Okay.
60.
Make it last.
That's not shit in this economy. Fucking inflation.
Hey, come on.
I can barely buy a pack of eggs with that money.
You're getting none. Everything's going to Sunny. Okay.
Son of a bitch.
And he's got like 3 years, you know. So
I mean, he really is a son of a bitch. He's only got 3 years left.
Hey, he's old, you know. That's what they say.
What would be the creepiest thing you could say to somebody passing by, who's like a stranger?
I mean, I think we already had this question before, right?
Something similar.
On the pod, I think, man. But creepiest ones, like
your mother's here. I don't know.
We used to say that a lot. Your mother's here, you know.
I do.
She was a stay-at-home mom. She was always there, dude. If you said your father's here, you know,
that would be scary.
That would be scary.
Minorities, you
know? Your father. She's like that.
Fuck, you know.
He got me the Yellow Ranger.
We weren't fazed by that in the movies. Oh, your mom's here.
The scariest
Nice,
thing.
dude.
The scariest thing is like, damn, bro, you look fine. That's probably the scariest thing to say now. Damn, bro, I think you fine, you know?
Why is that?
Well, hey, 2023, you know? You can't be overtly, what is it? Out catcalling, you know? I think that's what they call it. You can't overtly. Next thing you know, you get arrested. So I'd probably say to pay a woman a compliment.
It's the most expensive thing in the world.
Well, yours was the scariest thing to say to a person.
Yeah.
To pay a woman a compliment,
Hey,
okay? So now I just belittle them. I walk by a woman. I say, you look ugly.
I was gonna say
that dress, it looks horrible on you. You look fat today. And guess what? They all love me.
and now you're drowning
It
in
works, you know? How are you so vulnerable? They tell me. Hey,
My thing was
I just started insulting them. Now I'm a king.
you're God to these women. They're bowing down, you know, saying their prayers, you know, kneeling.
Like,
to
hey,
you.
itadakimasu.
My scariest thing would probably say like, eggs are $24.95.
What?
Eggs are $24.95. That's the scariest thing to say to somebody right now.
Oh, eggs. Oh, yeah, dude. That's why I'm on the egg whites right now. If I look a little skinny, I haven't been getting my omega acids, okay? My omega fatties, you know? So, but they say that's, they say, oh, bad cholesterol, good cholesterol, but eggs are really good, you know? That's why I only have 2 eggs in the morning when it's my ideal day. Now I can only have 1 with extra egg yolk. Okay? Shout out to Biden. Come on.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
So Build Back Better plan, okay?
Hey, you know, the economy is thriving right now. Dude, episode 6. The next time I'm gonna have you on is episode 6.
Man. Well, I already told you I'm killing myself after this episode, so thank you for having me.
Hey, we're gonna have to freeze your body. You got a big enough fridge?
My fridge, put me next to the chicken wings. You know?
We'll see you,
You
in
on Tommy and on a wing every year, you know? Instead of your wedding cake, you just get a wing out, microwave it, have a wing a year for the next 600 years or 600 episodes, whatever it is.
That's our bug out plan, you know?
Oh, man.
Come to Beefy's house.
That's it.
No, but I guess we'll see you in
That was all your
660
questions?
episodes. Yeah,
Wow.
that was all of them.
That was all of them.
It wasn't even that long, you know? It was only like 49 minutes.
49 minutes.
But you want to plug anything?
I don't want to plug anything in. I mean, this is probably the most maybe somebody has gone to know me.
This is a fucking this is an exclusive. People don't realize this is a fucking exclusive. Nobody else has gone to one-on-one with Beefy, you know, the dark one.
So this is me letting you guys a little bit into my life. There's still a lot more, okay? But,
Yeah.
you know, we don't talk about it that much.
The abyss goes deep, you know?
It goes deep, you know, that tormentor. But, yeah, I mean, nothing, you know, well, I love you. That's why, you know, I waited because I was like, oh, man, I almost didn't want to do it. You know, I was like, why do it? But, you know, I had to do it just because I love you. That's it.
I appreciate that.
And nothing else, man. I mean, the only other thing is just to make sure you're on top of your scheduling, right? Top of your planning. I mean, you've been better with your questions, so you know you've been transcribing.
Yeah.
So you know now you're kind of running out of comfortable guests. Hopefully that at least people that I guess you know that can get on the mic.
Hey, I was trying to shoot for 10, but now I'm lucky number 7. You know.
So hopefully you know I don't know you keep this rolling, and I mean that's just I mean I told you already, you know, to if you're gonna do this, to just make sure you keep working on it and stuff like that. That's just to be assertive and stuff like that.
So that's your plug. Hey, work fucking harder.
Work fucking harder, man. No, you fucking minority, okay? No excuses. Do a better job. You can elevate yourself a little bit more, okay? Take it from an immigrant. So yeah, I mean that's my plug. I mean beans and rice. That's it. You know, we're pretty cool. Maybe we're gonna be looking for another intern.
We might drop a mixtape. We might
a lot of things.
write a movie, you know.
And hopefully,
Possibilities are endless.
The main thing, I guess, to just type everything back together. Like we've discussed this a lot of times with other people that do shows, or whatever the case may be. Like the main purpose, even for me in general, like with the other show, it's just where people can go in, not worry about anything else that's going on in the world, right? I don't want to make it about anything. We're going to roast everything. We're going to talk trash about everything. Like, we're just going to have fun. So that's why I like doing that show. So, you know, if you guys are tired of the world, tired of the HOA, you know, it's on the same channel. Just, you know,
Just
watch
change
our
the-
stuff. You
Change
know?
the episode.
So just do that. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Beans and rice, the HOA. I mean, I think everything's been pretty cool. I think hopefully, I mean, everybody's having fun. I think, right? Still.
So far, yeah.
So yeah, I think everybody. I mean, we're going to 3 years.
Year number 3 almost.
Year number 3, I think so.
And
So
what, is it June or July? I can't remember.
one of those, you know. But it's. I mean, I guess if we don't know, that means it's been good, right?
Yeah. Nobody's keeping track.
Nobody's keeping track.
There's no divorce coming
Our
soon.
gifts keep getting better and better, right? So yeah, so just like tap in everybody that has followed us. I appreciate it, and if you like this, you know, I appreciate it too. Because I mean, I always kind of feel weird, like, oh, I'm gonna talk about myself, you know.
Well, this is the first time you ever
A little
really
bit
talk about
weird, you know.
yourself?
So smash a thumbs up. What do they say? Smash a thumbs up. Subscribe. Click on the link below and get yourself a used car. Okay, but that's it for me.
All right, dude. Well, appreciate you being my neighbor. I love you. Thank you for doing all this. Like literally, I just show up and half-ass my questions. And
Hey, you can lie, okay? You can tell me that off air, Javi.
Yeah, I like to be. I'm an honest guy. What can I say? You know.
It's called being vulnerable.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Also, hopefully, if anyone has any questions you want to ask anybody, random or not, we'll add it to the Lord's list. If you want to be on, message me, DM me. I can't read minds, you pieces of shit. So if you really want to be on, be vulnerable and ask me.
That's right.
All right?
Take a chance, okay?
Make a change. And then
Make a change. Yeah. I like that one. That's a good one. Make a change. You know?
Hey,
Instead of make a wish, make a change.
Yeah. Fucking St. Jude's. With that being said, we'll hang out after. Thank you guys so much.
Hasta luego.
Nos vemos.